Recording. We're recording now. And then now, this is the part where we go live on the Book of Faces. Well, 2 minutes late. That's fine, right?
I'm not paying attention to you because I'm currently trying to buy another vehicle that I don't need via Facebook Marketplace.
Story of your life.
2 tickets to paradise! Pack your bags and
we leave tonight!
Woo! We're going to for sure get sued. Who sang that song? Kenny Chesney?
Oh, no, Eddie Money.
God, you're so old.
That was when I was a kid.
You are a kid. You're a giant man child, and everybody knows it.
That's fair. Podcast episode 14.
Hello, everybody listening right now to the iTunes. This is the intro where Rye fumbles through his stuff before he actually gets us live on Facebook.
And boosh, we are live on Facebook.
I don't believe you.
In your face, book.
What episode number is this?
14.
God, we are doing very well.
Consistency is key, cuz.
Consistency is key.
So what's up, buddy?
Oh, you're putting this on me?
Off to a good start. How's your week?
No. Last week, what did I do? I had prepared notes. I had talking points. We talked about somebody dumping their poop in a pits. I had a whole bunch of good stuff lined up. I said, Rye, you got one job. Week 14, episode 14, I need you to prepare an entire fun-filled adventure schedule to speak on. Did you prepare anything?
You definitely did not say those exact words to me.
Okay, that's weird because everybody in the comments agrees with me.
What are you talking about? There's nobody commenting yet.
Oh, well, guess what? iTunes doesn't know that. So when they listen to this, they're going to be like, Logan is such a good dude.
You know what, dude? I don't really appreciate the way you're coming at me right now, okay?
Oh, Donnie Klein's watching. This is good. Donnie, I'm gonna leave you this. Donnie, listen up. Donnie is a customer of ours at Dynasty, and every time I do a live feed, he pops up with his eyes because we've had his car for like 7.5 years, and he wants it back. Donnie's car. We did a single turbo kit on a 370Z. It made 638 wheel horsepower, stock engine. Really, really a fun setup. So today was the wrap-up day. It came off the dyno. What day is it? Wednesday?
Yes.
So Tuesday, he finished up on dyno on E85 tuning. And then today, anytime we finish a build like that, we do street test, drive it for a good bit of time, and then make sure nothing falls off the car. As I'm sure Donnie's like, what fell off the car? Nothing fell off your car. I didn't work on it, so that's good. But we street tested it. Everything went well. And Donnie, I tried to call, but his phone kept going. He was in bad reception area, so I couldn't get a hold of him.
Is it, for you, not to derail the conversation entirely, is it not the most nerve-wracking thing for you to fire up a car for the first time, even if it's your place of employment or your own project, somebody else's project?
The only first fire-ups that get me nervous at work are first fire-ups that we did not build the engine on. Not because, and it's only because it's an outside, entity that did it. Like, I won't, without mentioning names or engines specifically, I have a customer in-house right now that the car's been there for, I don't want to give anything away. It's been there for a little while.
Yeah.
And he had another company build him an engine. Actually, 2 of these going on right now. He had another company build him an engine. Well, we fired it up and went to do first oil change. And the thing's making a racket. Oil pressure's kind of all over the place. Pull the oil out of it, and it's just full of glitter. I mean, it's full of metal.
Ugh.
Well, then it turns into the following. The engine builder tells the owner of the car that, and this didn't happen, but this is normally what happens. We were blessed in this situation. But the engine builder immediately blames the shop. Well, it was a shop. They didn't turn the key the right way when they started it. Or like some dumb, like, was there oil in it? Yeah, we put oil in it.
Yeah, they didn't prime it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, okay, we did. This is, in fact, our first rodeo. We bought a fresh pair of cowboy boots. We're planning on breaking them in tonight on this horse. So that's the one thing that aggravates me, freaks me out on first fire-ups. I hate the hell out of that. So Brock is the shop foreman there, and he does all our engine builds. I've never had a single engine, knock on wood, never had a single engine failure from anything we put together in-house. So every time he throws something together, the concern is not there. But anything I personally work on, yeah, It's absolutely terrifying. I hate
Yeah.
starting.
I don't know how many times I've done it, and even with my own car, just every time I hit the button, I'm like, how much is this going to cost? That's the first thing that crosses my mind. And I just did a cam on a 2015 Camaro, done them cam job in a million times, pull the heads, fresh lifters, fresh oil pump. But it's like, I've ran into those scenarios where you tear the O-ring on the oil pump and it kills the oil pressure, or just,
Yep.
dude, you never know. And it's so nerve wracking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if I was the only one who felt that way.
No, and yeah, I mean, there's situations that are worse than others, and there's a lot of things that can go wrong on a first fire up, but it was one of those things. Donnie, circling back to Donnie's car, this 370Z. So let me play this whole thing back. This thing was such a pain in the ass. And everything, Keith Durbin's in here. I got a couple of customers in here that all have really fun street cars, but Donnie's car was a pain in the ass. So we did a CJ Motorsports twin pump hanger, and CJ Motorsports is owned by a guy named Chuck, who's a good friend of mine, and he builds a bunch of fuel system stuff for 350Zs and 370Zs and RX-7s. Incidentally, the fuel pump hanger I have in my car is a CJ Motorsports hanger. Anyway, long story short, we finish doing Donnie's build. The car fires up. It makes like 520 or 530 to the tire on pump gas. And the next day we go out to start it, and it goes like the longest crank ever. And I'm like, son of a bitch. So I called Donnie. I'm like, yeah, the car is great, except it takes 12 and a half minutes to start, just as a heads up. So we ended up chasing our tail forever trying to figure out this startup issue. Went as far as to replace the injectors with a different brand of injector, like everything we could think of. And turns out, so Walbro released a 350 liter per hour fuel pump. It's the same size as like a 485, sort of like physically.
Yeah.
E85 friendly, whatever. Well, we fire that thing up and we pull the pump hanger out, because in the car you could hear it prime, but it was like, like you could hear it almost aerating at first. And you watch, and it's not repeatable. So you watch the fuel pressure gauge, and when you key on and you go to start it, well, your first fuel pump prime pulse. So like when you prime the runners, right? As soon as you key on, it shoots the injectors, it primes them. Well, the only way the injectors have any fuel to move is if there's pressure at the injector.
Right.
So if the first millisecond that we key on ignition, that pump is aerated, it's not providing any fuel to the injectors. But it was doing it like not consistently. It was just randomly doing it. Anyway, it ended up being a bad pump, a bad fuel pump on key on. We run 2 fuel pumps, so no issue with lean condition or anything like that. But anything where you cannot replicate the issue time after time after time after time is the most aggravating thing in the absolute world. I hate it, because every time I have to call a customer, I'm like, hey, you know the problem that we have, but we don't have, but then we have it, then we don't have it, but then we have it. I still haven't been able to figure it out. So, Donnie's car was out of his element. That's 100% true, Jeff. Oh man,
I was talking to you about it yesterday with that red car that was sitting in the garage here. I went over to his house and he was ready to make some street hits on the thing. He lives way out in the sticks, so we go out there to do a couple pulls on the thing, and it's kind of a turd right off the bat, and we're working through it. The new car issues, a little bit of a turbo oil drain issue. It's fogging for mosquitoes, and I was like, well, screw it, let's fire the car up and just put it on the trans brake right here in the shop, and then we'll see where the oil leak is actually coming from. And we go to fire the thing up, and the motor turns over like half a turn and stops. Totally hydrolocked. And
hey, what kind of injectors were in the car?
Immediately, shut up. Immediately, my heart sinks, because I'm the person who originally put that motor together, and I'm like, oh God. But it came in with oil pressure and sounded totally fine, but turned out to be an injector was stuck open and completely flooded one of the cylinders with, when we pulled the spark plug out and I heard it sounded like you're opening a can of soda. I was so relieved. And it's just, you do so much work on a car for somebody else that spends money with you. And I don't know how people do it full time, honestly. I mean, I do it as a little bit of a side hustle, and it gives me, like, I lose sleep over it sometimes. And when it goes great, it's the most amazing feeling. But up until, it's like watching your kid like go off to, I'm imagining what it's like watching your kid go off to college. You call like, hey, everything's still good.
Yeah.
That Camaro I just did the cam on. I've been calling him or texting him like, hey man, how's the car? He's like, yeah, 250 miles on it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let me know when
cool.
shoot me a text when it hits 320. Like,
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing too, especially when you mix your passion with your professional life. The Will asked a question, what's the worst phone call you make at work? There is no worst phone call anymore. When I first got into the business, it was, engine failure or something like that's always tough. But if you prep a client the right way and you talk to the customer about what the worst case scenarios are off the bat, then they should be prepared for worst case scenario at all times. Because who was it? Josh Tonsky, Horsepower Solutions on the East Coast up there. I think where are they at?
Up in Jersey, I think.
Jersey. I don't know where they are. I don't think they're Jersey.
Northeast somewhere.
Jersey or they're in the New England Patriots land.
Yeah.
Anyway, he posted up, if you can't light a $100 bill on fire, drag racing is not for you. I'll go a step further. If you can't light a $100 bill on fire, modifying cars is not for you. And that's a big key, because worst phone call you can make. Let's say I have a customer drops off their car. Hell, Kenny Harper posted up that Dynasty, our shop, broke in the engine on his 350Z. He never even turned the key. So if Kenny's car goes on the dyno and it shreds itself, it blows to pieces, that would be a terrible phone call to make if the conversation prior to the car going on the dyno wasn't, we didn't build this engine. We will monitor all your vital signs. If something goes catastrophically wrong, we will obviously stop the dyno pull. Understand that the following things can happen during a dyno pull. And there's nothing, a lot of stuff is out of our control. It's divine intervention. Stuff happens. My case, my RX-7, for example. Anyway, so stuff like that happens. Now, I will actually, no, I'll edit that statement. There is a worst phone call. When you physically harm somebody's car in the shop, you dent it, you scratch it, you crash it, something. I have been blessed, knock on wood. We have never crashed a car. You hear horror stories. They took my car for a test drive, put it in the ditch, and flipped it, whatever. Knock on wood again. This never happened.
I tell everybody that I do. I mean, I'm not a shop and I just do side stuff for everybody, but I tell everybody up front, I preface it, I will not test drive your car.
Yep. Because from an insurance and liability standpoint, they could take you for all you're worth. You know what I mean?
I will put it around just to through my neighborhood at 25 miles an hour, but I will never go wide open throttle with somebody else's car.
Yeah, man. Well, and that's the thing, even from a legal standpoint, a lot of people, I'm going to open a shop, or I'm going to start wrenching. I'm going to do this. I want to do that. Well, the problem with that, not the problem. I think it's beautiful when people want to own their own shop. But take a step back and look at the brick and mortar costs, look at all the tax liability, look at the insurance. To get proper insurance on a shop, somebody please, if you're really thinking about opening a performance shop, not gen repair, because there are two globally different things when it comes to insurance companies, look at what it costs to insure a performance shop. When people call me at Dynasty and they say, hey, why should I bring my car to you? I tell them, I don't look at our track record or reviews. You could do all that. But call every other shop in our area, and I'm not bashing anybody, just being honest. Ask them what insurance they carry, what security system they have, how long they've been in business, what's their Better Business Bureau rating. Ask those questions.
Right.
Fully insured, vetted shop. We have 24/7 security system all over the shop. We have people monitoring the cameras at all times. So if your car is in our shop, within our gate, inside the shop, it's not, again, things happen, but it's a very safe location. But the worst calls to make, again, is if I dented or scratched your car.
Hey, we hurt your baby. Sorry.
Dude, did I tell you about that split window fiberglass vet that a jack fell into?
Yeah.
That was tough. But you can't lie to a customer, accidents happen. And he was super appreciative of us being forward with him and roll on. Everything's fine. Stuff happens.
Yeah, I was messing with a shop out in Cali, and it is 65 Chevelle, this $100,000 plus build, ridiculous, just basically built to cruise the fairgrounds at a Good Guys event.
Yep.
And somehow we let the car down, and we didn't realize that somebody kicked one of the legs on the 4-post lift.
Oh no.
And it wasn't under the frame anymore. It was under the fender, and we sent the car up, and it crushed the front fender. And this was it was easily a $10,000+ paint job on the thing. And yeah, we had to eat it. I didn't have to. I didn't know the shop and I didn't do it, but I heard the noise and I walked into the back and I was like, oh, that's no good. So that's definitely, I agree with you. I'm not in I've dabbled in shops. I've never personally damaged anybody's equipment, thankfully. But that's one of my biggest apprehensions about, like, when I hang up what I'm doing right now. Like, I've thought long and hard about it, long and hard. Um, but I don't know that I want that much liability and anxiety laying over me. It's a bunch.
Well, it is, and even the small amount we've talked about the jobs that you've done, and you just talked about the Camaro leaving in 250 miles, and you're losing sleep over it. Well, I learned over the course of time doing it for a job. There's no way to not take your work home with you.
Yeah,
it's impossible. It's straight up impossible. And even now, Donnie Klein, one of our customers, is in the live feed and he's watching and commenting. And if this was me 5 years ago, I would have so much anxiety over one of my customers trying to talk to me after hours or like talk on a live feed. And then you take a step back from it and you ask yourself, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel anxious over this? And the anxiety, you spelled clapped out, by the way, wrong. It's calped out, podcast episode 14.
Did I? Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, I used to get anxiety over that stuff because I just, for whatever reason, I just didn't feel like I could get away from my work. And then I realized I didn't want to get away from my work. You know, there's times where I need a break and I need to step away from it. But, you know, I think being nervous and having anxieties over things like that, the second you don't have any nerves or any anxieties, you should really check yourself as a technician or whatever.
Yeah, that's when you get complacent and you make mistakes.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I've
100%.
That's my biggest anxiety over this whole thing is like, I'm trying to, that I want to turn what we love to do into a career. And it's like, okay, now when there's more liability, is it going to be as much fun as it was before? Because like right now, I just do side stuff for people just to generate a little bit of extra revenue. And what I've learned is I used to do this stuff for people damn near for free, or just like, hey man, bring me some beer and I'll put a cam in your car because I love to build cool shit. And what I kind of started to figure out is like, even my own personal time is worth money. And as the anxiety level started to increase over the years and the bills got bigger and bigger and bigger, that's when I didn't really charge more based on the amount of time it would take me. I charged more based on the amount of worry, because I was like, try to scare somebody away. Like, if you really want me to do this, I will, but this is what it's going to cost you. And then when people say, okay, and I was like, oh shit, I actually have to do this now.
Yeah. The cost benefit analysis of anxiety versus profit is huge. And that's one of those things, like, even you remove yourself from the situation. And you just mentioned your time. Now you're a father of 3, terrible father, I might add. I hate you. You're a father of 3. You have a wonderful family. And then you look at, okay, I'm going to have to do a cam job on this Camaro. It's going to take me 15 hours, let's just say.
Right.
That's 15 hours of your life you're never going to get back. So take a step back and say, what is my, like, here's a great example. Hal, the owner and tuner at Dynasty, which I probably shouldn't mention this publicly, but Hal may be welcoming another addition to his family.
Congratulations, Hal.
Nothing has happened yet. I have been trying to name this new addition, and he, for whatever reason, won't let me. I just feel like Reginald the Hammer is a great name. There's so many names. Raylan Wyatt is a name I said. And Raylan Wyatt sounds like a cowboy you would never want to fight. You know what I mean?
It's a pretty good
I don't
one.
want to say his last name on the air, but yeah, Raylan Wyatt. Like, just sound anyway. So Hal, owner, tuner, Dynasty, one of my very, very close friends, and he has a rate set up. Okay. So your standard, we charge hourly dyno time, and I'm not going to say that number over the air because it is what it is. Call me if you want a dyno tune. But number 2, if you want to slide in ahead of a customer, let's say you have to have your car done and you want to push everyone out of the way. It's not fair. I can't do that to people. I don't care if we're tuning a stock 350Z and you have a full pro mod you want to get on the dyno. I do not care, because everybody's money spends the same, number 1. And number 2, everybody has to work just as hard as each other. So it's not fair to somebody that's been on the books for 3 months for you to slide in ahead of them. So if you want to come in and you want him to come in early before shop opens, or you want to come in on Saturday or Sunday, it's easy. Double shop rate. You pay double the cost, and the next step is he has to clear it with his wife. Not like she controls him or she's like the boss, but like he has a beautiful family at home that he wants to spend as much time with as possible. So for him to justify it, like that's got to be part of the discussion. And it's very rare that we'll book those. And there are some people that don't care. Money's no object. But we're not going to push people. I'm not going to push a 350Z that has an NA tune for anybody because they waited just as long. They deserve a spot.
I've gotten flack, and I hope they see this. I don't know if these clowns watch it, and I hope they do. And yes, I will say you're a clown to your face. Local guys here, one of the dudes in particular kind of had a little bit of beef with on Facebook, called him out. And he's like, hey, we can do it at such and such track on this day. And I was like, cool.
Fist fight or drag race?
Drag race. And I was like, cool, man. Let me clear it with my wife. And he goes, oh, you got to ask your wife permission? I'm like, yeah. I'm a father of 3 kids. I can't just pack my shit up and leave. That's great. You're 20-something years old. I'll bust your ass any day of the week.
All these like basement dwellers, single dudes that can't keep a relationship together longer than 3 months and are like, can't believe you got to ask your 10-year anniversary on your 10-year anniversary. You can go race, you idiot.
Yeah. I'm gonna check with her to make sure that she's cool with it. Sorry that I'm a good father and husband.
Mm-hmm. Hey Bobby, you haven't washed your bed sheets in 7 months. Shut the hell up. Like that's the thing. It's insane to me. Like I couldn't do what I do without my fiance. And that's not me being sensitive or anything. That's literally like we talked about it the other night. They have a support system that stands behind you through all your stupid decisions. Rye, I only have great decisions. So, and to stand behind you through all your decisions and to support you through like the terrible decisions that you make, Rye, those things are important. And you don't realize what it means until you go from like a shitty relationship that's toxic. And like, even if like, I'm not saying I'm a toxic person, but I wasn't the best person my whole life. Sometimes I was probably a bad guy, but I'm good now. And to have somebody that's with me that helps grow that and make me feel like I can tackle the world, you don't realize what it's worth. So when some dickhead, you gotta ask your wife for permission. I can't believe you're gonna give me permission.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give me permission. That's how I hear those idiots.
Exactly.
Morons. All right.
And they're still not faster than me. The dudes that were clowning me for my wife. That's
me.
Your
that's
only
me.
jab.
That's me. I am faster than you.
Yeah.
Boom.
Hey,
yeah.
Have you seen the new M3?
No, I haven't. It's ugly. It's terrible. But someone has asked about the RX-7 in the comments, and I feel like that's more important than anything we ever talk about.
Okay, go ahead and talk about the RX-7 first, then we get into the M3.
The M3. I can't. I gotta get the M3's hideous. It's so ugly. It's a triple grill. Like it's so ugly.
I have talk about your RX-7, or do you want to talk about M3 now?
I don't know. I guess I'll talk about the RX-7. So, the RX-7. Did you pull the mic down to your butt? Did you get it in there?
Yeah.
Was that a crotch? Was that a front crotch fart, or was that behind your butt? That's good.
I leaned back to push it towards the front.
It sounded way, way tighter than last night. God, man. Good job. You've been doing those Kegels. I could tell. Congrats, bud.
Let's see how many listeners we lose off of that one.
Everyone wondering, dude. You tune in live, you're going to hear Rise Kegel tips at 5:45.
And you said I didn't do any show prep.
No, you did. Yeah, it was a good show prep, man. You, my friend, are an icon of entertainment right there. So here's the deal. The RX-7, Logan, bad guy. Nah, maybe a bit obnoxious at times in your life that I've known you. Brian Tracy. It's funny. People, I used to work with Brian at Mercedes, and I'm surprised he didn't come in there like, yeah, you were a piece of shit, buddy. You suck. But thank you, Brian. I appreciate that. I've always liked you. He has the only Crossfire I've ever liked.
Wait, what?
The Crossfire?
I know. There's a local one here. I think it's on nitrous. Or no, we talked about this because it's the same as the Mercedes CLK, right?
Yeah, the SRT. Fuck.
I think he has
the AMG,
and it has the compressor motor with the blower on it. There's a local one here that runs like 1230s, And when I had the blue truck, I was super confident when I had put the turbo on it and it was running like 13s. I was like, I'm going to fuck this dude up. And he walked away from me. I was so embarrassed.
Brian's car, when he bought it, I was like, I didn't know anything about him. And then he bought it I think, Brian used to be into SRT4s. So when he bought the Crossfire, I was like, oh, it's just like another SRT4. It's going to not go anywhere and break transmissions every 5 minutes. And then the car like just got increasingly faster and he kept adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. I think he had, if you're still listening, Brian, did you not have like the Crossfire record or something? Which I'm sure, no disrespect, Brian, but I'm sure that wasn't a hard record to get. Like all 12 people that have them.
You beat me to it.
But it is cool. It's that blue color. It's got like a carbon hood, nice wheels. Like he did it up nicely. Again, for Crossfire. So the RX-7, the deal there, I sold the engine, the transmission, and I sold the everything. I gutted the drivetrain, and other than the rear end and stuff. What did I start? Anyway, I gutted the drivetrain, sold to a buddy, and it's been sitting in the corner. I have I've basically gone to, I'm going to go stick shift again. Thank you for everyone laughing right now. T56 Magnum, and I believe I will be putting together a 416 cubic inch stock block combination. I have 1080, so you went 1080. He has the record. Only turbocharged one at the time. Brian Tracy, Crossfire King.
Can't knock that. 1080 car will fuck up almost anything on the street.
If I got beat by a Crossfire on the street, I'd sell my car.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what your license plate should say, sell it.
Yeah, honestly, 100%. Or yeah, you got beat by a Chrysler. But yeah, that's the plan right now. I think a 416 forced induction, but I'd keep that under the hat. I'm not sure what yet. And then banger, monster clutches. Steve Addison, if you're watching, I love you. Thank you for sticking by my side like I'm a terrible, abusive girlfriend and you just won't go away. I love you. And I think that's going to be the game plan. I have been actually, I just got off of, oh my God, I got off like a 35 to 45 minute phone call with my dude Dan at BC Forged NA, the wheel company. They do custom modular and monoblock wheels.
Those are the ones that are on William
Tetro.
Yep.
Yeah, the same brand that Tetro runs on his street stuff.
Yep.
And dude, I'm telling you, man, I have. I talked to Alex Healy when he was at RC Components and about wheel specs, and him rattling off the math behind wheel specs to me was like, oh my God, I don't know anything about wheels. And then I talked to Dan, and dude, this dude is like an encyclopedia. He like knows to the thousandth of an inch like how big the lips will be if the centers are offset here or this or that. Like he's spitting numbers out to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna throw money at your face and I just want you to surprise me because
it messes me up because domestic guys are all about like inches of backspace, and then the metric stuff is always millimeters of offset, and I'm just like, dude, I can't keep up with it.
And then you deal with Dan, and Dan will interchange in the middle of it. It's like you're driving in Britain and then you're back in America. He's it'll offer a 3-inch lip, a 76 millimeter offset with a blah, blah, like all. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know.
It's like listening to my wife talk to her mom because she's from Mexico. So she'll be talking in Spanish and then all of a sudden just like
back to English. Yeah.
Back to English. I'm like, what are you doing?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Keep up with it.
It felt like that. And so we've been going over options for wheels because I want to put a nice set of wheels on the car. And that's kind of where I'm at. Street car, drive it, enjoy it. I have no goal for drag race times or anything like that. I think I'll have fun, and I think I'll be able to go fast still with the banger like I did before. If anyone forgot, I went 890 with a stick shift already. So just as a heads up.
I fully believe in you.
You're full of shit. Why do you do
this?
I'm
not. No, I'm totally not. I 100% support you.
Our relationship isn't built on believing in each other, dude.
As long as your time slip does not start with a 1, we're cool.
Yeah, no, it won't start with a 1. First pass, it won't go 1 anything.
If you can you do it on 18s? Because that would be sick.
The problem with and I never made this a big deal because I didn't know how far it would get. I wanted to go 8s on air, and I wanted to put air ride on the car and do it on 19-inch wheels. The problem is, on an 18-inch wheel with a drag radial, it is super abrasive on IRS. So the last time I tried to go drag racing with a 17-inch drag radial, it was a streetcar takeover, and I broke my pumpkin into 77 mini pumpkins. So, and then the crowd was like, "Oh, you piece of shit! I hope you die in a fire." And I'm like,
Because you oiled down the track.
No, I didn't move. I moved like 3 foot. I mean, it was like, it didn't even move. The car literally went like, pink, and that was it. It was just oil or gear fluid everywhere.
There's zero forgiveness on a sticky track with that.
Dude, the crowd, they put on a show for Streetcar Takeover. The crowd immediately, oh my God. I know I don't have a car to race myself, but I'm going to make fun of this guy. Oh. So I got
get out, turn your back, and like take your helmet off and look down at the ground.
No. Middle fingers, everyone. I just got out of the car, middle finger. I did the sprinkler middle finger deal all around. It was very embarrassing.
Now, I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Hey, Michael, didn't Cletus run sevens with a stick? What did you run with a stick, Michael? Huh? Your big ass red glasses. What did you run with a stick?
Nice.
What if you write?
That's a real nice top fan badge there, Michael. Be ashamed if something happened to it.
You'd be crazy, Michael. Why'd you go with a stick, Michael? Why'd you get off Cletus's nutsack, Michael? Huh? You got oceanfront property on his taint, Michael? Sorry for yelling, Michael. Please don't stop watching our show. I love you. And I miss you, and I'm sorry for screaming. But I am going to roast you and go to your profile and talk a bunch of smack. So give me one. Damn it, he's got a really nice house.
I'm trying to figure out what's up with those red sunglasses in the profile.
I don't know, dude, but I feel like we should become good friends with him because if you look at the rendering of his house, he looks like someone we should hang out with.
I can't because if I do, I'm afraid it's going to lock my internet up. So I'll take your word for it. Michael, we like you a lot.
Yeah, Michael, nice house. I hope it's built now, and if it is, we should hang out at some point.
Absolutely.
So either way, just hit me in the DMs. Like, let's see what happens. See where it goes.
So you don't know if you're doing blower or turbo. You're on the fence.
No, I know what I'm doing. I'm just not going to talk about it.
Okay, that's fair.
It's going to have 416 cubic inches of raw American power, which is how you say power.
LSLT.
You don't have a stick, Michael. You better go to the doctor and figure out what happened. That's a penis joke. I'm just kidding. For real. I'm sure you're packing an equipped package with glasses like that.
So hanging a hammer down there.
Anyone else want me to roast you? Go ahead and post up in the comments. This is fun.
So
you got to carry the team, buddy. What do you got? Come on.
The new BMW.
It's hideous as hell.
Here's my thing. Here's what I don't like about it. Okay, I'm going to share a screen right here. Okay, get ready.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Okay, hold on.
For our iTunes viewers, Rye is unprepared for the podcast, so he's just going to put pictures up and talk about them. It's his favorite thing to do. It's so ugly.
But here's my thing. It is ugly, okay? But if you see whose site I'm on, Abimelech Design, same dude that did the Impala rendering for me, he fixed it. Check this out. Right.
I'm waiting. Your internet.
There it is. He fixed it.
I still don't dig it, dude.
He kind of fixed it. I'm not.
don't. No, I'm not saying that. Like the rendering looks better than that stupid ass grill. It does look better. However, I just don't dig. I don't know. I've just never been a big BMW guy. I like the Supra.
Here's my other beef with it. Take note of the color, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is it the same color?
I don't know, but the 400Z has grown on me quite a bit since the renderings have been dropping.
Yeah, but I'm just like, why is it the same color as the damn Nissan? Why would you do that? It's a terrible.
I think they just wanted to give us some material for the podcast, honestly.
I think so, but dude,
BMW's been watching us for a while, though. You know how they are.
The Beaver. I love the beaver tooth front grille it's tough to look at.
It's so bad, dude. It looks like a WS6 banged a BMW M3, and then just the only feature it got was its nose and the snorkel version. Like it looks like a WS6 hood that like got real sad one time.
My thing is like, this is the rendering. This is what BMW released, and they're like, hey, let's just put a license plate here, like wherever, right in the smack dab in the middle of the whole thing.
It looks like some sort of aminal. You know what I mean? It's like an aminal.
It's horrible.
It's an aminal face.
Horrible.
Yeah, that was a BMW color forever.
Yeah.
Kenny Harper likes the 400Z. I do. The 400Z has grown on me a lot. And I first saw it. I posted on Clapped Out with a barf face with it. And I regret that post now because I have looked at more and more and more of them. And I think that car is going to be unique. And I also think everyone that cried about, why won't they release? It's a 6-cylinder twin turbo stick shift sports car. Like,
yeah.
Shut up. Just shut up.
And this is I'm doing a little, I don't know if you call it foreshadowing here, but
We're skinning.
we're gonna have this guy on Abimelech Design. We're gonna have him live on one of these here very soon to talk us through his renderings. This is his rendering of the 400Z, and it's kind of like a Trans Am inspired kind of deal that he did, and it came out.
That 300ZX style wing, though, you know, the old high-rise 300ZX wing.
Yep, and the taillights, like,
I hate Altez's. They work on that color though.
this thing came out pretty dope.
I don't like the fog lights though. They're an ode back to, was it a Muse? I can't remember
yeah. Like, I just want to know, like what we talked about on the phone earlier today, how these guys do this stuff, and that's what we're going to dive into. I don't want to talk too much about it now because we'll get him on here, but
yeah, we're going to do a follow-up for hopefully we got to work out the details, but have like a live Q&A on doing 3D renderings on those cars, because it is very unique the way that they go about doing that, for sure.
Yep. Like, that's a car that you've never seen in person, and somehow he's amazingly able to do this incredible 3D rendering of it.
Amazingly able to do this incredible.
I know, that's
amazingly able to do an incredible. It sounds like a Donald Trump campaign song, doesn't it? It's an amazingly incredible way to do an amazing, incredible.
He's just an amazing with the
amazing.
little accordion hands.
All the diehard
Amazingly
Trump fans are
able.
they're gonna stop following. You guys hate Trump. No, we don't. We just think he's funny. So
okay, let's just amazingly able to.
That's good. Amazingly able to do an incredible job. It's an amazing. It's the most amazing, incredible job, and it's always very good.
It's
good
huge.
Oh, rather than Biden, who'd fall asleep in the middle of drawing one. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan of all of this. I think he does a good job on the renderings. I think the 400Z is sick. I think it's going to come out, even with the final touches. You know how the renderings never spot on for the final product. I think the final product's going to look really nice. I'm
excited to see how modifiable it turns out to be.
Well, what's the biggest hindrance from being modifiable?
Tuning.
Unlocking the ECU.
Yep.
So, and I don't know if you've seen this. This is hilarious to me. Anyone that calls the shop and wants to tune a 19 to 20 Silverado, I tell them I can't. Rather than explaining it's $500 just for credits.
Yeah.
To unlock the ECU, it's 10 credits. And then the ZR1, we have a C7 ZR1 in the shop, and it was $2,500 for an ECU. He bought a replacement ECU just to have.
Jesus.
$2,500 for the ECU and unlock on that ECU total. Plus, you also need 10 more credits, so it's $3,000 just to be able. And this is with a whole replacement ECU. If you don't get the replacement ECU, it's $2,000 for the unlock process. So it's insane. But the thing is, you're buying a $150,000 car.
True.
You know what I mean? Like, spend 150 grand on a car. HP Tuners is probably like, you know what? These dickheads will probably spend the money. Like, that's probably their thought process. They just assume that anyone, like a brand new truck, these dickheads will pay the money. They just don't care because they know the dudes just bought anyone that bought a $60,000 to $80,000 truck that wants to tune it doesn't care what it costs.
Yeah.
You know, you pay cash for a truck, you're gonna tune it anyway.
Speaking of dickheads who will spend money,
yeah, where is Josh?
Have you seen the Tesla Model S Plaid?
It's sick.
But when is Elon Musk going to start delivering on everything he's taking deposits on? What are we at now? This is the third one. So the Roadster, the Cybertruck, right? And now this one. And you can just, the Hype Beast, taking deposits on this. Like, how long can this keep going?
We'll see. I don't know, man. I don't understand the economics of pre-ordering a vehicle like that. I don't even understand the economics of pre-ordering a cell phone or like a PS5, let alone like a deposit on an entire truck.
Well, the Cybertruck deposit was only $100.
How many did you order?
I didn't order any, but I think he got, if I recall correctly, he got like 200,000 orders.
That's it?
I mean, 200,000 times 100. And then you take that money, you go, okay.
Do that math. Do that math right now. 200,000 times 100.
I'm not even going to try.
$20 million. Come on.
Is it? Okay. So
I don't know. It was a guess. I think it's 200 million. Let me do the math.
200,000 people pre-order.
Damn, I'm good.
$20 million. So now you take those numbers to your potential investors and go, I got $20 million from people who are interested in this vehicle. And you don't have to tell them like they only give me $100, but $20 million worth of people. This is how excited people are about this truck. Are you willing to invest in this company? And they go like, take my money.
Yep.
And then I just feel like Tesla's doing a big rob Peter to pay Paul kind of situation. Where is the Roadster? It's been, remember he's claiming 8-second quarter mile times with that. They built one.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're all in outer space.
He just keeps putting them on SpaceX and
you know what I mean? Maybe just
them
keeps
to the
launching
moon.
them out. Oh, you want your truck here? You got to go to outer space to get it. It's on Mars.
I've read some stuff about. He's such an intriguing character to me on how he runs Tesla and how it's so polar opposite of how any other car manufacturer actually is. So I find it like really very intriguing.
Yeah. So I drove a Tesla one time. That's all I had. I've never driven a Tesla. The only electric car I've ever ridden in is a BMW i3, and it's Hal, the owner of Dynasties, and I think it's the worst car that's ever been produced in the history of cars. It's a pile of shit. I hate it. But he loves it. He straight up loves the thing. He drives it everywhere, and I hate it. It's a piece of shit. It has like a 60-mile range. You literally have to charge a thing every evening. Like he bought like the low range one so he can drive it to and from work, and that's like it. Yeah. But it's the worst thing in the world. The tires there's only one tire that fits the wheel. It's like a 20 by 4-inch wheel or so. It's the most bizarre.
The i3 is a little smart car looking one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All electric smart car.
Not the i8, which looks like a supercar, which is a complete turd.
Yeah. Hey, question. C7 ZR1 or V10 Audi R8? Pick one.
That's tough. I'm going to say C7 just for a maintenance standpoint.
Okay.
Because it's
going to be final answer.
It's going to be cheaper to maintain that.
Okay. What if the maintenance doesn't matter? Just pick a car, one or the other.
Audi R8, V10.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. I told our ZR1 customer to do that as well. So
is it 6-speed or e-gear?
I didn't even ask. I didn't care.
Yeah. I wouldn't either.
The C7 ZR1 is an amazing car. I think it is the best Corvette ever produced. I believe that wholeheartedly. I honestly think the R8 is more my style because it's a more attention-grabbing car. It's louder, it's more boisterous, more flamboyant. And like when you spend that kind of money on a car, you're not doing it because you like the gas mileage, The ZR1 though was, and again I say this is one of the best cars ever produced, sports cars ever produced in general, the best Corvette ever produced in my opinion. I would take a C7 ZR1 10 out of 10 times over a C8. I do not like the C8s at all. Ooh. I don't like them at all. I hate them.
I strongly disagree with that one.
Yeah. I just don't. I can't. I just don't I don't like them.
I haven't seen one up close in person. You have though. So
no, I mean, and it's not even like, it comes from the amount of time I've spent driving the C7 chassis, and even the C7 ZR1 we have in there. I had to take it uptown to get an alignment and to get a wheel balance done on it. And just cruising on the highway, it's just such a well-balanced car. I haven't done a lot of driving in the C8, but I just don't like the position of the seat. I just don't like I hate the rear end of the car. I don't know.
See, this is going to be an unpopular opinion probably with most people, but I'm a C6 over C7 guy. C6 Z06.
I think that's common. I think most people like the C6 more.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. The C8, I will say this. The C8 does drive nice. It's not a terrible drive. It drives nice. It's a well-sorted car. But then I drive, if I drive a C8 back-to-back with a C7 ZR1, I still want the ZR1. I just like him better. And look at Justin Keith, C7 ZR1. He had a C8. I think for like 5 minutes. Back in a C7 ZR1.
Is he?
Mm-hmm.
He sold his C? I didn't know that.
I mean, I'm guessing. I see in his garage, he posts pictures of the C7 ZR. It was a 9-second car with an intake and a tune.
Yeah.
It's insane to me.
I saw an Audi R8 yesterday here locally, which is kind of a rare sight. And the Audi R8 is just so bland. Like it looks so similar to everything else in Audi's lineup, which is Plus in my, it looks so similar to Audi TT. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like a squish stretched version.
Yeah, it does. And when I knew the Audi R8 was kind of like a domesticated supercar, it was when my wife was like, "Ooh, I like that car. How much are those?" And I was like, "100 grand." She goes, "Oh, what? That's an Audi." I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "That Audi's 100 grand?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's an R8. It's basically a Lamborghini." So
Yeah. Well, and again, I don't know. I have never driven an R8, so I can't really make that call either. Like, I see them, I like them, I think they look good. But then you see the price of like these, 0405 Gallardos getting in the $50,000-$60,000 range, and it's like, well, put an LS in one if it blows up.
it's been done once before.
I don't know though. I think a twin turbo R8 would be sick.
Why did they even make what years were the V8 R8s?
I have no idea.
Like
I've never been rich enough to explore buying one.
the beginning models. Can I just say that the picture behind me on the wall that's crooked, I don't even know if it's mounted to anything, is really just making my OCD go to all-time high.
Yeah, that terrible looking car behind you is doing the same to me. For our listeners at home, Rye's Killface car, his orange car, is behind him in the video. Yeah, Cletus did sell his C8 as well, but he sold that to, I think, fund the bleacher rebuild and some other things.
Yep.
Hey, Cooper. Is Cooper still on the Cletus show, or is he doing his own thing now? Like, what's the deal there?
Oh, we talked about it yesterday, and I went and watched the video, and Cletus made a video, Garrett. Cooper has since parted ways with them on good terms and has started his own channel at his own home shop. So...
Okay, so
they're completely independent now.
Okay, so it's just James and Cletus now?
And whoever the guy is, I can't recall his name, that's doing the track management at the Freedom Factory.
Okay, hold on. I got to call James, see if there's an opening. I don't think he's going to answer. He's probably busy just being a badass. He's just so attractive in general.
Dude, he's the best. He's the best.
Come on, James, man. I'm trying to get a job, bro.
What if he doesn't answer you and I call him and he answers me?
Okay, I'll cry on live. Yeah. Also, putting him on the spot, like, "Hey, what's up? I heard there's an opening." Probably not the best idea.
I really want to try to call him.
I will quit clapped out right now if you guys are listening. I don't even like Rye or Josh, so what's up?
Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know what the dynamic is there, and I don't want to speculate. They're all great dudes down there.
Yeah. All right, who's the most attractive, Cooper, James, or Cletus? Let's say it on the count of three. Who would you date? 1, 2, 3. James. Good, dude. Good call. Just a good jawline. Overall, good physique. Like, looks like he takes care of crops in his off time.
Tremendous father. The only father out of the three.
Speaking of fathers, my dad's in the comments. He says, "Good to see you. Wish I could say the same, Dad. You never loved me, Dad." Not true. He did love me very much. Not in a weird way, though. God dang it. So anyway, James is very attractive, right?
Yes, 100%.
I think who would win in a fight, Cletus or James?
James, dad bod, dad strength.
Okay.
Crazy dad strength.
Who do you think clips their toenails more often, Cletus or James? I bet Garrett gets pedicures.
Yeah.
Garrett for sure gets pedicures.
Yeah.
Do you think?
When you're a father of, I think James has 2 kids now, right? When you're a father of 2, like, you don't have time.
20 kids. He's got 20.
Look, I got 3. I don't have time. If you saw my toenails, I can catch salmon out of a river with these things. Okay.
You can always, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, that's fair. I think I think at the end of the day, you need to just focus on what's important. You know what I mean?
Which is clipping my toenails?
Yes,
or
absolutely.
My kids.
I think both. I think doing a little bit of everything. I think clipping your toenails and then, maybe not clipping your fingernails for a little while. That way you get the old, like, the quick scratch deal going on.
Ugh.
Garrett has a 10-foot wingspan. He does. So, the guy from Boosted Boys left PFI Speed and is now down there with him.
Brett from PFI Speed. I think that's who he's talking about.
Oh, I didn't know. That's cool.
The dude that rides with him.
He seems like a good dude.
The guy that rides with him on Rocky Mountain Race Week.
Oh, no, Brian just said boosted boy Kyle. So there's a discrepancy here.
Oh, I don't
Doesn't
know.
matter. I wish him luck. Let's focus on what's really important, and that is the fact I went faster than Rye in 2020. He's not going to beat me.
The bottom line is Killface and Ruby are going to show down and show up.
Don't change the subject.
I'm not. It's still on the same subject.
When are you going to go faster than me?
I'm going to bust your fucking record wide open when I race James, if not before. Actually, car's going to the dyno this week, and then next week I'm going to Galat Motorsports Park and racing old John Dock heads up with his SN95 for North Carolina SN95 Streetcar Supremacy.
Oh my God.
There, I will be. It's a real title. We made it up.
This is very long. It's giving me kind of a little bit of a headache.
So me and John Dock are going to be going toe to toe.
Well, yeah, I guess toe to toe. I was going to say face to face would be tough. He'd need a stool.
Yeah. I sent him a text earlier. We were talking back and forth today. I sent him a text. It was meant for my wife. And he goes, "What?" And I was like, "Sorry, that was meant for my wife." And he goes, "Is that your like weird way of talking crap?" And I was like, "It is now." Like,
yeah. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, old Johnny boy. He's a good kid, that John Dock, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Very excitable too. Did you know John Dock? This is true. You guys can verify this. In high school, John Dock was on the varsity wrestling team, and he shit his pants in the middle of a wrestling tournament.
All in his onesies.
He shit all over himself. So where he's from.
Still won.
Yes, he did. That's the sad part. Here's the thing. The ref had to call it because the opponent was throwing up from the smell of shit.
But John had the superior position at the time, so...
If anyone's wondering where you can't shit your pants if you're naked came from.
All right, hit the lockers.
Hit the lockers. They just hosed him down and then covered him in powdered sugar, and then all the kids took their turn. So that's if you guys are wondering, that is a true story. All 32 live listeners, run to John Dock and tell him Logan told the story about him shitting his pants on the wrestling mat. We went to high school together. I graduated 3 years ahead of him because I graduated early because I'm very smart.
I don't think John graduated at all.
No, he's still in school. He still goes.
Oh, that's fair.
It's his 12th round of his senior year. So when he wrestles now, it's a little awkward because you got a 46-year-old guy on the mats with 18-year-olds. Other than that, though, yeah, he did shit all over himself, just as a heads up. So run and tell that. You didn't like that story?
No, I loved it.
You want to hear more stories?
Yes, please.
Okay. Name somebody in the industry that we both know.
Jason Terrell, Tin Soldiers.
Jason Terrell, at 18 years old, became the youngest person in the state of Kentucky to earn his woodsman license. And he has, at his house, he bought 67 acres. For whatever reason, I remember the amount of acres. 67 acres. Of the 67 acres that Jason Terrell owns, 66 are either indoor greenhouses where he cultivates orchids. So Tin Soldiers is his main gig. He literally buys and sells orchid flowers, and that's where he gets all the money to go racing. He doesn't really give a shit about racing. He is a huge, huge orchid enthusiast. Absolutely loves flowers. Okay, give me someone else.
Let's see here. Brian Tooley.
Brian Tooley originally went to college to be a veterinarian because when he was 12 years old, his cat had a litter of kittens, and he couldn't save one of the kittens. One of the kittens passed in his arms. At the same time, he was going to get he was going to go to school to get his degree and to be a veterinarian. He decided to join the Navy because he thought that they had underwater seahorses that you ride. He was absolutely incorrect. There's no such thing as seahorses that you ride underwater, and he got stuck on a submarine for like 6 to 8 years. Next.
Let's stick with the BTR family. Rick Smith.
God, Rick Smith, dude. Okay, how about a true story for one?
Yeah, his tells itself, basically.
Rick Smith has Richard Smith. Richard Smith founded Trick Flow Specialties. Richard Smith is packing a 12-inch donger. Richard Smith is now working with Brian Tooley Racing. He's in the research development. He developed the equalizer, their new 3-piece intake. That's Richard Smith. Richard Smith has so many patents, and this is not BS. He has so many patents that the dude mid-conversation will remember a patent that he has and be like, oh, yeah, I forgot. We got a patent on that. And then just talk about a patent that he has that he forgot that he had. Probably some stuff I can't talk about publicly, but the dude, I can't even make anything up about him because he's just such a dynamo.
He is a very eccentric person, but I mean that in the most loving of ways.
He's awesome, dude. He's awesome. Absolutely. Actually, I talked to BTR, Bethany, and Samantha in purchasing and receiving, and they do their administrative. And I gave them a call the other day. I needed some parts, and they took care of me. It's bizarre, like calling anyone at BTR and talking to anyone at BTR now. I'm used to like blowing bridges up when I leave work. Like if I quit a job or if I move on somewhere, I like to just explode the situation and never talk to anyone again. And when I left Dynasty to go to BTR, I stayed really, really chill with Hal and everybody because I really love those guys. And then when I left BTR to go back to Dynasty, it was the same vibe. And it's just I don't know. It's cool. I really do enjoy it. I think burning bridges only burn them when you have to.
I'm trying to find, we wanted to talk about it earlier, Stevie Fastpass, but I can't find a good.
All you got to know is the dude went 350s on a street legal tire.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. And like bottom 350s.
3502 and 3505.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So
he pulled the chute. God, who did he race when he went 3505? Pulled the chute on him early, it seemed, and it was hilarious to me.
It was also the first. He was also this weekend. They had the first side-by-side 350 pass.
That's the fastest side-by-side pass in history. Actually.
Yeah, it was Marcus Burt and is it Marcus Burt or Britt? Marcus Burt and Stevie Fast. Stevie went on that pass was a 594 versus Burt's 588, 3.588, but he went a couple of 5.0s this weekend, and that is absolutely insane. Did you think 5 years ago? When was the first 3-second pass in RBW?
No, I didn't think. Dude, we grew up when radial racing was if you go 5.0 to the 8th, you're doing something.
Yeah. X275 now is running what RVW cars were running when we really first started paying attention to this stuff. That's crazy. Like David Farlow and Tin Soldiers guys, they were out this weekend.
David Farlow's car.
Stock 5.4 block. And on an 80 millimeter turbo, restricted 80 millimeter turbo, they were running bottom 430s, I think.
I
don't know if they got into the 20s this weekend or not, but
I don't think it was a 30. Was it a 30?
Yeah.
I thought it was I didn't think it was a 30. I could be I'm probably 1,000% wrong. I shared the video and it was insanely impressive. So Jose at Forced Inductions has been like just going off with his stuff. I mean, he's absolutely going off. Yeah. 80 millimeter, 436 at 172.
That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. With again, stock block, stock heads, 5.4. It is a Ford GT block in heads, but still.
It doesn't just stock blocks.
I think it's a factory crank too, but.
We're coming to the end of this, and I have a closeout that I want to do. It's a little emotional, and I will hold it together for the better of the show. Earlier this week, I had posted on Facebook that a good friend of mine had passed away. His name's Ryan Wasson, and where I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago in a town called St. Charles. Went to Geneva High School, met some of my very, very best friends during that time period. In a no particular order. There's Benji, there's Squeak, there's Chris Tremblay, there's Mitch Tate. I shouldn't even start naming all these people because I'm going to forget so many and feel like an asshole. But anyway, we had a very large group of people that were all together and really learned motorsports and enjoyed it together as a team. And it was just a sense of camaraderie that you can't replace. It's a time in my life that I'll never, ever, ever be able to replace. And I got a call earlier this week from my good friend Brandon Gonzalez, who lives in California now, and Ryan had moved out to California, that Ryan had passed away. The last 6 months or so, I hadn't talked to Ryan in quite a while, and we began talking again over the last 6 months, and he had this kind of newfound passion for motorsports, and he had picked up a BMW and he was modifying it, and just it seemed like he was on a great trajectory and and a lot of love in his heart, and a lot of positivity that just kind of oozed out of the dude. He was just always a kind of a bright light in the room when we would all get together. So I wanted to extend my deepest and most sincere condolences to Ryan's family, his friends, our original group, and everybody that has been affected by him passing. And if you asked me 10 years ago, if anything like this would occur, I would not have guessed that. And it's an indication and a reminder that time on this earth is fucking short. You do not know if you're going to wake up tomorrow. You do not know what the world has in store for you. We have a lot of bullshit going on right now in the world we live in, and the loss of somebody like that suddenly is another, like I said, a reminder of you don't know where the end button is. So just live and love as much as you can, and be good to your neighbor, and realize the world's not as bad as we all think. And if everyone could be just a little bit like Ryan was, that would make the world a much, much, much better place. So with Rye's approval, I'd like to dedicate this podcast to RB, Ryan Wasson, and again, extend my condolences to every single human being that he touched and that he was a part of. And everyone back home that may or may not be watching the Clapped Out podcast or listening, I appreciate your support, and don't think I ever forgot about any of you guys, because once I make it huge and I'm a millionaire, I'm going to steal all of Rye's money, and I'm going to take care of all of you. So that's all I had on that. But I wanted to make sure I mentioned that it was a pretty sad and unfortunate situation. But
well said, buddy.
Absolutely.
Very well said.
Take us home, Rye.
Well, I would say head over to clappedout.com/store, but the only thing we got left over there are stickers. There will be new stickers going up this week, and if we can find the rendering that we need.
I got it. I have it.
We're going to order some shirts this week as well.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout. Follow us on Facebook. Give us a subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, all the social media platforms out there. But we appreciate everybody tuning in.
Just give us the attention we desire.
Yes, please. Clappedout.com.
Please, manja.
That's it. We're out.
Peace.